Well, welcome to all of you once again. My name is Christine Much. I'm the program manager for the Cook Leadership Academy, and we're just so delighted that you are here today. It's so great to be all in one room with friends and loved ones and our cohort together, so we're really glad that you were able to prioritize this time and be here celebrating. I'd like to extend a really warm welcome to our guests, friends, loved ones, mentors, Hauenstein Center members. Thank you for taking the time to really bear witness to the efforts and intentions of the people in this cohort. In case you are newer to the Cook Leadership Academy, or the CLA as we like to call it around here, this cohort experience was launched 20 years ago through the generous support of the late Peter C. Cook and family. The CLA is a co-curricular program, meaning there's no class credit. These are simply very motivated students who desire to grow in their leadership capacity and effectiveness, who want to help us fulfill our mission of developing ethical and effective leaders for the 21st century. It's also a multidisciplinary program with over 30 majors represented amongst these 66 students, from undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral levels. Our students hail from multiple countries around the world and represent many different cultures and perspectives. It's a rich and multifaceted group of students, one of the hallmarks and greatest benefits of this program. The experiences that we've had together are also really multidimensional. These students have taken part in deep self-reflection, hours of dialogue with their peers, leadership skill building in areas such as identifying their personal leadership style, discovering their values, and developing conflict management strategies. They have learned from significant leaders from GVSU, the GR community, and the national stage. They have volunteered their time, and they have had life-changing mentoring experiences. And I know there are a number of mentors in the crowd today, and we're very grateful for your presence here. And if you ask them, and I hope you will take some time during our reception afterwards to talk to our students can tell you the ways that they've changed and grown over the course of this year and during their involvement with the CLA. So thank you again to our guests for being here. But our students, you are our guests of honor. You are the reason we do this. We are so thankful for all the ways that you have shown up time and again in body and spirit. You were selected for this program because you demonstrated deep curiosity, a strong desire to learn from and with others, and a desire to make an impact in your fields of study and your spheres of influence. I want you to try to remember when you first applied to this program. For some of you, it was a year ago. For some, 2 or 3 years. You've been in the CLA for a number of years. What were your perspectives on leadership? In what ways did you need to grow? What were your blind spots? How confident were you in yourself and your leadership? And now think about who you are now, where you are now. I love hearing stories about how your views on leadership have changed, often from more of a one-dimensional kind of command and control version of leadership to a way of embodying leadership that is so unique to your unique strengths and contexts. You tell us stories about how you feel more confident walking into settings and groups that used to intimidate you, that you found your footing, your voice, your place. And so importantly, you're also putting all this awareness and confidence and skill set into action. You make us proud, really proud, and you give us so much hope for our collective future. So thank you for being here again tonight. Today, we've invited one of our CLA alum to share some words of encouragement and some insights with you as you complete your time in the CLA, and for some of you, your time at GVSU. So I'd like to introduce you today to Havila Emker. Havila is a proud GVSU alumni and Cook Leadership Fellow who spent 3 years as a fellow, a lead fellow, as well as a student coordinator for the Hauenstein Center. A 2021 graduate, Havila majored in theater and integrative studies with a focus on strategic storytelling. They now manage development communications for the Shedd Aquarium in Chicago. You might have heard of it or been there. While also pursuing their master's in strategic communication. In their free time, they enjoy spending time by Lake Michigan experiencing Chicago's storefront theater scene and reading about 8 books at once. I know some of us can relate to that for sure. So please join me in welcoming Havila to the stage.
Thank you so much, Christine. That was a stunningly perfect introduction to my what I have to share today. I am so honored to be back in this place that means so much to me and had such a great impact on the person that I am today, which I think is an experience you all share. I'm so proud of each of you for completing this year of training to become even better leaders. And I know that each of you is incredibly motivated and will take everything you learned in this last year and bring it to your worlds and make them a better place. Today, I'll be sharing with you a few of the things that I've learned about life and leadership here at Grand Valley and at the Cook Leadership Academy, and a little bit about what leadership means to me and my own journey. I hope that you'll take one thing away from today into your next stage of life, whether that's planning your next semester or a summer internship or crossing the stage and graduating. As for me, I always knew that I would change the world, which is hard to do when you're homeschooled and you live in a small farm town in Michigan. But I was really obsessed with a book called Do Hard Things, which emphatically impressed on my 14-year-old mind that your teen years were the best, most important years to have an impact on the world. So I knew I had to start a magazine or write a book or raise a lot of money. And unsurprisingly, not much happened in my teen years. I gave a couple of speeches, I wrote a couple of letters, but mostly I was shy and quiet. So when I showed up to Grand Valley as a 19-year-old, extremely scared, I knew that my college years were definitely going to be the best, most important years of my life. In true independent fashion, I decided that a major wasn't going to dictate which classes I was going to take, and so I enrolled in the Integrative Studies program. And this program allows you to just kind of design your own major, and it changed my life. I was able to work in archives and tell stories and write plays and ponder the meaning of life. And that gave me the opportunity to see the world in a different way. I called my major storytelling, which no one quite knew what that meant, and neither did I. But I figured that if I followed my passions, maybe it would lead me somewhere good. I also got involved with leadership very early on campus, always looking for that special way to make an impact on the world. I applied to the CLA as a freshman, and I was admitted as a sophomore. And if I was scared before, I was terrified now. There was no way that I belonged in that room surrounded by so many talented people just like yourselves. I was convinced that they must have all done something much more impressive than me with their lives. But I'm sure as you learned over the last year, imposter syndrome is real, and not a single one of us thought that we belonged in that room. So I became a part of this incredible community. I made lifelong friends. I was pushed outside of my comfort zone. And a couple years later, I was invited to give a leadership minute before a wheelhouse talk. And in that 1 minute, I talked about how I was quiet, but I was a leader, and how sometimes you can find your power in stillness. I told my boss about that speech a couple of days ago, and she told me, no, there's no way you used to be quiet. And it's true. I show up differently now than I did 4 years ago. I lead meetings, and I confidently share my opinion, and I join conversations. But that quietness is still there. It just shows up in different ways. I need context and research before I share my thoughts. I don't always speak up because I trust my collaborators. But even though I'm not the loudest voice in the room, I am trusted for my ability to step back, take it all in, and synthesize. We need leaders of all shapes and sizes. Maybe some of you are still feeling that imposter syndrome. I've heard from C-suite executives decades into their career that they still feel like they don't belong in that room sometimes. So I want you to take a few minutes and look at the leaders sitting all around you and think about the things that you admire in them. And remember that they're looking back at you, thinking the same thing. The Cook Leadership Academy taught me that what I thought were my weaknesses could actually be my strengths. And when I graduated, I felt confident to bring my skills to the next role. I joined a fellowship at Plainsong Farm in Rockford, Michigan. And while I learned that my cottagecore dreams were perhaps never going to come true because I hate farming, I do like sitting behind a computer. And I also discovered that I love telling stories. The thing that I had done since childhood, the thing that I had built my entire education around, was the thing that brought me joy. And I had found a way to make it into a career. I was able to tell stories through blogs and social media and fundraising. And that led me to a role running an annual fund campaign. And there I learned that I didn't like getting the money, but I did like crafting compelling narratives and inviting people to join a movement in whatever way felt meaningful to them. And so that's how I found myself, working at Shedd Aquarium in Chicago, telling those important stories and inviting people to change the world in a small way. It's hard to show up authentically in a world that is so uncertain. And it doesn't happen without fear, but it is so important to being the leaders that I know you are and that you will continue to grow into. The terrifying thing about being up here today is that I am only made up of everyone who came before me, everyone who has led and taught and lived alongside me. But the exciting thing is that I get to share with you some of those things that they've taught me. So I hope you're ready for 9 things that I have learned from people that I truly love and admire and look up to, things that have shaped my life. And while I may not do all of these things well, I hope that you will take some of them home with you tonight. So first, notice the simple things. It's easy to get caught up in those big goals. I want to write a book, and I still want to be a part of changing the world. But I've learned that life happens in the simple things. It's taking a slower walk to work and appreciating the apple trees budding. It's getting coffee with a new friend and connecting with a similar sense of humor. It's reading that book that's been on your to-be-read list for far too long, just because you want to enjoy it. So while you're pursuing the big goals, make sure that you're celebrating the small things. 2, value your community. It's easy when you're pursuing those goals to not prioritize your relationships. But I want to remind you that those people are the ones who will value you whether or not you get a 4.0 or you get that next promotion. And just like the trees that rely on their root systems around them, we are all connected. So grow your roots deep and rely on the strength of the many. 3, be intentional. When life is moving so fast, it's hard to step back, to make a decision because you've thought about it, not just because the opportunity was there and it was easier to take it. I've learned that it's important to listen to your intuition, to value the things that matter to you, and to make a good decision. So whether you're deciding to change majors or move across the country, there may not be a right decision, but there is usually a good one. 4, imagination is power. This is one of the most important things I learned at Plainsong Farm, is the power of imagination. I learned that we shape the world we live in by imagining the way it could be. We dream of a world where children don't go hungry and coral reefs are thriving and people are free. So dream up the world that you hope for. And let that vision lead you forward as together we shape a better future. 5, rest. Now, this is a truly revolutionary idea that is extremely difficult to prioritize. So I want you to push past those voices that say that it's lazy to take a break, that life will leave you behind. And remember that rest is a superpower. Rest is how we survive long enough to see our dreams come true. Maybe it means just actually taking your lunch break, or taking a week off between jobs, or just reading a chapter of that book that you've been meaning to finish. The world will be waiting when you're rested and ready to bring your full self once again. 6, be tenacious. A couple years ago, I got a tattoo of a ginkgo leaf on my shoulder because it represents tenacity. The ginkgo tree is one of the oldest living species, and it has survived for thousands of years through innumerable obstacles. And it reminds me that we too can persist. So whether you're facing a challenge or the harshest storm, remember that we can persist in all of our beauty. 7, embrace and. The dichotomy of either or is limiting in the way that it allows us to exist in the world. When I realized I didn't have to find the black and the white answers, it changed everything. I could make up my own major and still get a job. I can present feminine and be non-binary. I can be quiet and be a leader. Society likes to simplify. Don't let it categorize you. Learn to embrace the space between either and or. 8, stay humble. When I first found out that I would be speaking tonight, I immediately thought of the leaders that I admire. And I thought about the ways that they care about the people they lead, how they lead out of their values and their servants' hearts. And I thought it would be cool to share with you their definitions of leadership. But when I asked them, they didn't quite answer the way I expected. Instead, they told me about the people that they admired, the leaders that they look up to, and reminded me to think about the people who I admire. So remember that you are only made up of all those who came before you, and if you're lucky, you'll get to be a part of someone else's story. And 9, just do. I spent the past few minutes reminding you to take a breath, slow down, notice the simple things. And now I'm going to tell you to stop procrastinating. Stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Stop waiting to find your one true life's purpose, and just do. Maybe you'll fail. Maybe it won't look exactly how you imagined it, but it will still be beautiful. And you will learn new things, and you will make new relationships, and you will co-create with this world that we are lucky enough to be alive in. So go out there and do the thing that scares you. The ginkgo survived, and so will you. I am so proud of each of you for accomplishing this small part of your journey, a journey that brought you to this moment and that is only just beginning. There is no such thing as the best years of your life. Your learning is never over. So keep becoming, keep surprising yourself, keep doing what matters to you, and live a life that you will be proud of. I am already so proud of you. Thank you, and congratulations.
As many of you know, the Cook Leadership Academy is situated organizationally under the Ralph Hauenstein Center for Presidential Studies. And I'd like to introduce you now to our center's director, Megan Rydecki, who's going to tell you a little bit about the legacy that you are a part of here as you graduate today. So Megan.
Thank you, Christine, for the introduction. And I was going to joke, despite the fact that I seem to have dressed myself like a flight attendant this evening, which I realized as I was brushing my teeth right before I got here, it is my pleasure to serve as the director of the Hauenstein Center, but also emergency exits are here and right back there in case you need them. On a much more serious note, it's really my privilege to be here tonight. I am a fellow Cook Leadership Academy alum, having crossed this stage and been a part of this group many moons ago, about 20. I was part of the second cohort ever. So it is a great joy to be here, and I get a little emotional every time because I too, much like Havala, am a product of this program, of this experience, and couldn't be prouder of the people who are sitting here tonight, and just am really, really thrilled to be here. So. I do want to reflect a little bit on our benefactor, Ralph, and also Peter Cook. And I want to do it by reminding us of a phrase that we often hear these days about standing on the shoulder of giants. We hear it often in the context of both uplifting others and being uplifted by others. I imagine everyone in the room can think of individuals in our lives who have been instrumental in our growth, learning, and success. I invite you to take a minute to mentally thank them right now. In researching the phrase, standing on the shoulders of giants, I found that the original metaphor means using the understanding gained by major thinkers who have gone before in order to make intellectual progress. It dates back to the 12th century, but it's most commonly taken from a letter written by Isaac Newton in 1675, in which he expresses, "If I have seen further than others, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." And so it is with this context that I'd like us to reflect on two giants in the world of the Hauenstein Center for Presidential Studies, Colonel Ralph Hauenstein, pictured here, and Peter Cook, and what it means to stand on their shoulders. As many of you know, or many of you may not know, Ralph W. Hauenstein served in many roles in his life. He was a newspaper editor, a war hero, an entrepreneur, a business leader, and philanthropist. Last year, we learned he was even an extra in the movie The Godfather 2, having acquainted himself with Al Pacino and Martin Scorsese at his favorite breakfast spot in the Dominican Republic, where he owned a manufacturing facility. Similarly, Peter Cook was an accountant, an auto importer, an entrepreneur, a business leader, investor, and philanthropist. While his most notable business dealings involved negotiating some of the earliest rights to sell Volkswagen, Porsche, Audi, and Mazda here in the Midwest, he was also a crucial player in the Founders Brewing story, having lent them funding when they were on the verge of shuttering their business. Peter and Ralph were best friends, and together they exuded some of the best thinking that West Michigan has been privy to over the years. They worked hard, they took chances, they saw the opportunities coming well before they arrived, and all with a greater end goal in mind. In Ralph's 2004 commencement address at GVSU, after receiving an honorary degree, he said, "I contend that if you are going to be a leader, if you are going to serve your country and your community, then you must not be timid or resigned to come what may. You must take the future into your own hands to the extent that you are able. You must work to turn the odds in your favor." And so with those words in mind, I encourage you to consider what it means to stand on the shoulders of Ralph and Peter. And tonight I would also say to stand on the shoulders of Havala. To build on their understanding of the world, of business, of community building and philanthropy, to serve others, to make progress and create meaningful change. What does their work mean for the choices you make and the ways that you show up in the world? What brilliance does this require from each of you? The brilliance that we know lies within each of you. These are the legacies of Colonel Ralph Hauenstein and Peter Cook, and the ability to learn from them, iterate on their best attributes, and put that back into the world is the hallmark of a Peter C. Cook Leadership Academy Fellow. Thank you.
We will now proceed to the handing out of your graduation certificates and your graduation stoles, thus signaling your transition from a CLA Fellow candidate to an official Fellow of the Cook Leadership Academy. I'm going to be joined up here by Megan again. So sorry, Megan, you're coming back up. And then Kate Bilkowski, who's our graduate assistant for the Cook Leadership Academy this year. So I'll let you get in place and then I'll give a word of instruction. We are, as detailed in your program, going to start out with our lead fellows, and we will be going row by row. So I'm going to invite you one row at a time. Lead fellows, if you would like to stand up and make your way up, I will call you one by one. Right, proceed there. Abigail Austin. Asil Ayesh, in absentia. Alicia Cannon. Isa Grunwald. Hannah Hasfelt, in absentia. Anna Obi. Eric Satterley. Georgia Skarzinski. Okay, no, I'm like, thank you so much. Yeah. Julia Smolinski. Emily Boysonet. Our next row may stand and rise and join us on the stage. Miriam Abdel Momin. Minna Abdel Momin. Emmanuel Addo. Jackie Adama. Tori Aero in absentia. Owen Appel. Lucero Arizaga Jimenez. Damon Arnold. Kyle Kyle Bellion. Jackie Belkin. Sean Boyland. Our next row may rise. Join us on the stage. Colin Christ in absentia. Jake Clary. Lauren Davis. Daniela de Andrade. Riley Dietz. Jacqueline Driesinga. April Duran. Matt Enger in absentia. Elijah Fosu. Allie Firstinaw in absentia. Lila Hajimujit. Our next row may rise and join us on the stage. Maggie Hallett. C.K. Hamilton. Yash Hazari. Melanie Hernandez. Nancy Hogarth Boyd in absentia. Tamara Jones in absentia. Katie Carmanos in absentia. Lauren King.
Okay. Thank you.
Sydney Lancaster in absentia. Grace Loftus.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Maisha Maria in absentia. Alex Martinez. Lauro Maui. Our next row may join us on the stage. Evan McCarthy. Ian McGuckin. Lexi Medford. Pragya Mehala. Anis Mohammed. Matt Marah. Brianna Muscianti. Austin Nielsen. Lily Nykamp in absentia. Albert Okwe. Our final row may make their way to the stage. Jacqueline Palmas. Congratulations. Alec Palumbo. Lola Robar. Congratulations. Naomi Sang. Robin Settle. Anna Stang. Maddie Stemball. Leah Thomason in absentia. And Natalie Williams. Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Let's give a final round of applause for our graduates. At our last official meeting a couple of weeks ago, I reminded you that out of all the leadership tips and best practices I could give you, my reminder to you is that your best practice is you. when you are self-aware, and when you are leaning into your strengths and your passions, you are a force. So out of anything out there, know that that work inside you is what matters most, and you being the best version of yourself out in the world is what's going to make the most difference. So we are delighted to have you go on your way. May you continue to grow in self-awareness and using your strengths in integrity, in humility, and in courage. And we hope that you'll stay in touch, serving as mentors, coming to our CLA alumni events, whether or not you're officially graduating from GVSU or not, you're now welcome to all of those events and to our Hauenstein Center events. We are cheering you on, and we would love to stay connected and couldn't be more proud. Just by way of a few announcements as we wrap up today for you, we do have a lovely reception offering of food and beverage outside for all of you, so we hope that you'll be able to stay. There are plenty of picture opportunities outside. I'm going to actually remind all of our students we like to take a group photo out by the big fountain first. So what I'm going to do is let you all leave first. I'm going to ask everybody else to wait a moment. Don't try to grab your student. We'll go do some pictures, then you can meet up together at our reception as well. And at this point, the students are welcome to leave, but I'd like to thank everybody else for coming.